From the time he was a child, young Fred Ferman was a curious young man. Very curious indeed. He was born in 1874, almost 20 years before the first automobile set its slender tires upon the dusty trails of America. He did most of the things other young boys did. He learned to ride a bicycle. Eventually, his competitive spirit attracted him to racing, and when his bicycle broke down, he fixed it himself. This independence grew through his teen years, and by the age of 20, he owned a bicycle shop with a partner in Tampa. The enterprise thrived, and so did his imagination, being among the first to discover something that he believed would one day replace the bicycle, something brand new, the automobile. In 1895, young Fred acquired full ownership of the bicycle shop from his partner for the amount of $237.77. He bought, rented, and sold bicycles, as well as typewriters and cameras. The success of this modest enterprise soon made it possible for him to acquire one of the first Oldsmobile sales agencies in America. It was 1902. The Tampa Cycle Company had become the Ferman Motor Car Company, and by 1903, Fred added a Cadillac dealership as well. From these humble beginnings grew one of the nation's largest family-owned dealership groups, involving 4 generations of Ferman ownership, spanning more than 100 years.
Hi, I'm Jim Ferman. In the late 1890s, my grandfather, Fred Ferman, was a bellhop here at Henry B. Plant's Tampa Bay Hotel, now the University of Tampa. In just a few short years, he would have his own shop, selling bicycles and Kodak cameras, which were a big hit with those soldiers of Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders who were bound for Cuba in the Spanish-American War. Times have certainly changed, but there are some traditions and ideals and things like the Tampa Bay Hotel that are worth preserving.
From the time he was a child, James L. Ferman Jr., Jim, has been part of his grandfather's great adventure. He too was a curious young man, hard-working and industrious, with vision and a strong business sense, like his father, Jim Sr. Today, more than 100 years since his grandfather's bicycle shop, there remains a Ferman at the helm of the company. As in the generations before him, another proud son followed in his father's footsteps.
First, in 1885, there was W. Fred Ferman. Then his 2 sons in the 20s and 30s, Fred Jr. and James L. Sr. And in 1966, his son, James L. Ferman Jr.
Jim Ferman has since provided strong leadership to the company and contributed generously to his community.
Today, over 100 years later, my grandfather's small bike shop has grown into a substantial family business, and it continues to grow and prosper with a dozen brands of domestic and import cars, trucks, and motorcycles in West Central Florida locations. Here, let me show you what it's all about.
Time to move on.
I never thought I'd be so sad to see you go.
On down that road.
We sure had a lot of fun together, and a lot of hard work.
You've always been there.
Without you, I'd have never made enough money for my first car.
I want you to know.
But we both have to move on.
We'll always be friends.
I'm really gonna miss you. Hey Johnny, come here for a sec.
Wow, Bobby, your bike looks great.
Well, actually, it's not my bike anymore. It's yours. I got a car.
Really?
Come check it out.
Whoa, it's a Ferman. What's a Ferman?
You know, I just don't think I could seat one more car dealer. They're all kind of
Lame.
Thank you.
A lot of places sell cars,
How about that guy that asked to speak with my husband?
Did you see his hair?
but not many show you the respect you deserve,
Here, Mom, check this out.
whether it's your first car or your 20th.
Okay, I could do one more, since you are my favorite son.
I'm your only son, Mom.
Car shopping is a pain. I have to be choosy. That's the problem. I mean, I get to the place and the car is gone, or they don't have the one that I want. So who's got options?
I deal with great people. People who've been in business for 20, 30 years. But today I worked with someone who's been in business for 100 years. I just bought my 6th car from them.
I'm a big guy. I could still bench 280 and squat 400. But today, I'm gonna do something that scares me to death. I'm gonna buy a car.
To work in sales at Ferman, you have to learn one very important rule.
Treat people like people, not a paycheck. I like it.
Ferman, treating people like people for over 100 years.
Today, over 1,000 team members work at our modern, state-of-the-art sales and service locations, and they're still guided by the words of my dad, Jim Ferman Sr.
We operate on a combination of cracker and religious philosophy, and the golden rule is still the only rule that works.
Thanks for getting to know the Ferman family a little better. For over 100 years, it's been our privilege to serve you, and we look forward to the next 100.
Today, the principles established by Fred Ferman in 1895 are still a big part of the Ferman philosophy.
Even as the years race by, with monumental changes in the auto industry, the brands, the styling, even the buildings and locations, there is still a lot of Ferman in Ferman.